Be empowered. Be strong. Take charge. Speak life. Live life abundantly. Get with it now. You are now entering the chat room. Health Chat with Coach Jean, that is, where we debate, debunk, educate, empower, impart, and raise awareness on all things related to health, healing, and holistic well-being, body, mind, and spirit. Let's go.
What's up, everybody? Did you miss me last week? I sure did miss all of you. So welcome back from the Thanksgiving holiday. If you are here in the U.S., welcome back from the Thanksgiving holiday. I hope you had an enjoyable one and that you remain safe as possibly. Remember, we are still in the midst of a pandemic, but we're going to get to that in a moment. So I am your girl, Nurse Coach Jean Turner, and we are back in the chat room. Thank God for another week, right? He allowed us to live to see another holiday weekend, the Thanksgiving holiday weekend. And look, we are back. It's almost the end of another week. And I don't know about you, but I'm just glad to be here. Y'all know my testimony. I'm just glad to be here. As the old folks used to say, glad to be in the number one more time. Yes, indeed. And so look. I am, look, if you are on social media right now, you know, going over to Jerry Royce Live page, look, check us out on social media. You can hit me up at Health Chat with Coach G on Facebook, IG. I'm on LinkedIn and Clubhouse. I'm just all over the place. But connect with your girl, all right? I surely do appreciate it. And look, I'm flying solo tonight unless Batman decides to join me. But there is so much to talk about. Look, over the Thanksgiving weekend, I had a chance, you know, to just sit back, relax. I was on the beach, relaxing, chilling, you know, and I happened to be listening to a little bit of news. Like, I don't really dig listening to the news. I'm not one that listens to it all day, every day. I can take hiatuses. I can go 2, 3, 4 weeks, 8 weeks or more and not listen to a lick of news. And when I do, you know, partake of a little news, I prefer to read it, you know, on the internet or find out what the happenings is on social media because someone going to post something about what's going on in current events. So I feel like I really don't have to listen to it per se on the TV. And look, some of y'all need to cut off that TV anyway. You're listening to all this news and it's stressing you out. It's raising your blood pressure, and that is not conducive to your well-being. Sometimes you got to shut that TV off. Sometimes you got to shut off everything and shut out some people and go somewhere and sit still and just breathe and be. Just be in the stillness of the moment, in the quiet, so that God can speak, so that you can hear clearly what thus saith the Lord. And it's hard to hear from God. You know, many of us talk about we want to hear from God. God, I need to hear from you. God, speak to me. Give me direction. Give me instructions. Give me strategy. But you're running around everywhere like a chicken with your head cut off and not being still so you can listen. It's hard to listen in the chatter, yo. That's all I'm saying. But anyway, I digress. I was listening to a little bit of news, and a lot went on over last week and last weekend. So one of the things is we got this, supposedly there's this new variant of COVID-19, right? Omicron, I think it's called. Sounds like a transformer. That's what it reminds me of. And so, yeah, Batman, my producer, Batman, the Batman of Charm City. What you on the line? What you think about that?
Batman. Batman is right here listening to you, Coach. Bring me in, Coach. Bring me in.
What up?
Happy holiday. It's holiday time.
Yes, it is. It really, really is. So what's it called?
Omicron. Omicron. Yeah, they'd grab another O.
Omicron.
Yeah,
Sound
they'd.
like
Yeah,
Omicron.
sound like something
Sound like a
complicated.
transformer.
Yeah, something complicated, something complex. That's what it is.
When I first heard that last weekend, and I was listening to a little bit of news, I was like, that sounds like a transformer.
Just another variant, another mutation that took place. But I'm gonna tell you,
What's up?
They always tell us that you're dead in the water if you don't know your history. And, just remember when all this took place, they really didn't know what was going on. Of course they blamed it on the bats, they blamed it on China. But after looking at some of our historical plagues that we had, worldwide, going all the way back, I guess, to the 1800s or whatever was documented. Remember, I think the really, really bad one that hit Europe and many countries was, was the Black Death, which was the virus was passed from rodents and fleas, if you remember. And just like here, it came over. It started traveling through the merchant seamen, because the guys were coming into the ports. And even when some of the countries didn't allow the merchant, the guys that leave the ships, the rats still got off the boat and started running rampant in the township. And people were quarantined. And, my main concern was, after looking at it again, was how did it end? That's what scientists are trying to figure out. How does it end? And I remember a really, really good friend who's really, really close in government told me that the American people can't really handle the truth. And I kept thinking about that when she said it, because I haven't spoken to her be almost probably a year. And I was thinking when she said, I said, wow, what was to that? So this is what I'm saying. You have to go back in your history. And my mom is really good with research too, because she's a science teacher, a former science teacher.
Uh-huh.
And her and I had a conversation today about it. And she said, how did they end? I said, as long as people running around, not masking, because what they did was they did separate the sick. See, that's what they did. They separated the sick from the healthy. And it did take some time, but it did work. And then some of the scientists are still thinking today, like, really, was that really because they didn't have the modern medicine like we have today. And basically that's what they had to do. They had to separate. And then I think the strong survived, the ones that did get sick. And those are the people who were taking care of themselves. And it just and then of course, the populations that decreased. So it took years for the populations to start increasing. The numbers are nowhere close to what it is today. I think back then when it was like 300 million, I think they assumed there was living on the planet. So
wow,
it was really, check that out, Coach. I know you deep into science and everything. Check out some of those documentaries that's out there talking about the different plagues. There was so many of them, because remember I think some of those were associated with tuberculosis and smallpox, and sexual transmitted diseases was considered a plague back then, just like how we associated AIDS. Yep. Well, AIDS was
syphilis and all of that.
Yep, it was killing people. Yeah. So check it out, and I guess we can come back and revisit what you find and what you think the solution may be. That'd be interesting. What the coach think the solution? Because right now, and I was listening to what my son was saying. He's right. Every time something new come out, they're gonna push another booster. Because I talked to my endocrinologist, which I really trust, because she's good at what she does. And I said, should I skip the Delta booster and just wait for the Omicron booster? Because she says coming out shortly. I'm waiting for an answer.
Okay. Wait a minute, Batman. Omicron, or whatever you want to call it, just hit like last week, and they already started working on a booster. It just came out a couple of days ago.
Actually,
one or two things.
Okay.
It either been out and they've been hiding it, or You just knew it was coming and you already planned it. Look, something ain't smelling
All
right.
right,
Right about now.
this what happened, former Army nurse. It was already, it did creep its ugly head like for a very long time. It's been around for a while. Just that media didn't get hold of it here until like, because actually one of my friends is in the medical community. He got a call from a very prominent doctor that told him. And other than, I didn't hear anything about it in the media. He had mentioned it to me. He said, yeah, they got this new variant, man, and they kind of scratching their head on this one. And I was like, wow. And so next thing I know, like a week or two later, it started hitting the news. But it was over. What's happening now, the scientists here in the U.S. are communicating with the scientists over in Europe. That's the deal. And that's why the pharmaceutical companies are preparing. Remember, most of the pharmaceutical companies are not U.S. pharmaceutical companies. They are foreign companies.
Right.
Yeah, especially
Right.
Pfizer. Pfizer is what, Swedish, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
I want to say it is. But it's European. They're
Yeah,
European.
there's no American pharmaceutical companies doing nothing but Johnson & Johnson. That's why they had that's why
Right.
their version was way different too. Remember, theirs was from fetal.
The one shot.
Yeah.
The one shot.
Yeah, it's different
Yes,
makeup. So
one shot.
listening to what they were saying about the Black Plagues, the Black Death, the Black Plague, basically what happened was the scientists found that you have to change. They really felt that what really caused it to kind of just vanish was the fact that the human DNA changed, just like those things mutate. They felt
They mutate.
right. They feel like that's what happened to the humans because we learned to adapt. Just think the humans that settled here could not live in our environment right now. The minute they step out the bubble, they gone. They couldn't handle the exhaust fumes for one, and the germs that we carry, they wouldn't survive a day. So that's what happens. Our DNA changed. So that's why they said they felt like. Did you hear a lot of people say they felt like once everyone start catching, they felt like once everyone get COVID, your body will start doing some things. But it hasn't really quite been happening like this. Some people got some long-lasting effects like losing memory and losing a whole bunch of stuff other than their life. But there's some people got long COVID and, it's not really, and they caught it a second time and some people probably got it a third time, So I don't know.
And some of us got it not at all.
Right, because we're doing what they said back in the day. Remember when they was wearing those long masks? You know what? Do you know why they wore those long masks you look like a bird beak?
Yeah, I had one until recently. Yeah.
Well,
and a lot of healthcare facilities, that's the ones that they supply us.
Now, I mean the ones back in the day that the doctors were wearing looked like a real long, like a penguin beak. Real long. It was like a foot long.
It sticks out like a penguin. That's what I'm talking about. Well, they're not a foot long now, but they look like duck or penguin beaks.
Right. Well, the purpose of that, was that they thought back then that I think it was rosemary, because they knew that the virus passed through your body through your nostrils, so they felt like rosemary did something to your nasals, and it kept the virus from trying to survive. So they packed it with some kind of herb. That's what was in the beak. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it is crazy. No, not really. It's crazy for I think some people, but we pretty much our lifestyle is one that you and I, Batman, and others who may be listening in, we into the spices and the herbs and all these different things, right?
Right.
So it's not far-fetched, to be honest with you. It really is not, because a lot of our spices and herbs, and we're going to have a show on that in the near future, I hope, are really, really key in helping us to stay well. There's a lot of medicinal properties, antibacterial properties, and things, immune properties in a lot of our herbs and spices.
That's right. And sometimes you got to look at some of the clues too that's in some of our medication. Like my doctor turned me on to this because I told her, my back was kind of tight and we was about to take a long trip, and that's always caused me to take a break at every rest stop. The kids said, we're not going to ever get here, Dad. Right? And I was like, so I'm not going to, cause them the headache, right? So I'm going to stretch out the back. So I was seeing my chiropractor, my PT, and she recommended, I said, oh, doc, maybe I should have a muscle relaxer. That'll speed things up. She said, oh, I got something better than that. She gave me an herbal supplement that relaxes you. It reduces anxiety, it helps you sleep better, and it loosens the muscle. Because sometimes I wake up to it's still working. And I'm like, oh, man, I don't feel like doing nothing. And but it stinks like poop. She says it got magnesium in it.
No.
Yeah, they call it a poop pill. It's called a poop pill. I kid you not. It smelled like it too. It was like, whoa, I got to hold my breath. But I take that baby. But it has magnesium in it, which helps produce movement. It helps cleanse you out. And I'm thinking, wow, that's probably what they named some of those laxative after, right? What's the other laxative called?
You heard of magnesium citrate?
Yeah.
Old school.
Yep.
Old school magnesium citrate.
Yep, that's what's in it. And it moves you, man, naturally. It's not going to happen like super quickly. It may take a couple of days, but it's a natural thing, So, you got to think about, some of our natural minerals and herbs. You order something, doc. We got to get back to old school. And some doctors are actually putting ads out on social media about that same thing, which you've been talking about. That we got to go back to old school.
We got to go back. Look. We've got to go. There's some things that we need to go right back to how Mommy and Nan and them used to do.
Yeah.
Now, since you brought it up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Since you brought it up, and I thank God, I give him the glory, but I've been doing elderberry since 2016 when I got back from Korea. So before COVID-19, I've been taking a daily dose of elderberry, right?
Yeah, it's hard to get.
Elderberry, your sea moss. It's these certain things that people can say, oh, phooey all they want to, right?
Mm-hmm.
But between the grace of God and taking the elderberries and the sea mosses and cooking and putting a lot of natural herbs and spices in our foods and these different things, many of us thank God, have not had COVID.
That's right.
There's something to be said about going back old school to the natural herbs and plants. The Bible speaks of it, Batman.
Yeah, it
Genesis,
does.
in the right at the beginning of Genesis, what does it say about the plant seed, foods with seed, the fruits with seed? It talks about all green plants and vegetables God created for all living creatures.
That's right.
Eat.
That's right.
So,
That's right. Speaks of
so
herbs and supplements, nutrition, healing. That's the main thing because, you think about, back in the day, they didn't have modern medicine. They go out in the garden and make it happen. Get their fever, reduce their fever. You had 104, 106, you about to check out. So, mama go to her garden and grab some stuff and help reduce that fever, because that's basically what's going to take you out. Because the body's trying to fight, it's trying to kill a virus, so it's going to heat your body up,
Right.
It's going to make it hot.
Right, exactly. But yeah, when you think about that, our ancestors, there was no medicine. So what did they do? You're exactly right.
And they heat their room up.
That's what we need to.
And they heat their room up with that fireplace. They didn't care what the climate was like outside. They get that heat, get you sweating that out. Sweat it out.
Sweat it out.
Yeah.
Sweat it out. And that's why sweating is good, because you're sweating all those toxins out of your body. That's why these infrared saunas are good. I got in the sauna for the first time in a couple before my suddenly health crisis. I was like, oh my God, I missed it. And just sat there and sweating, was just as happy as I want to be, knowing that as I'm sweating, my body is ridding itself of toxins, right?
That's
so
right.
You're right. Mommy and Nan and them used to turn up the heat, turn on the ovens, everything. Get that house or apartment toasty warm. We in the projects. And look, you would sweat that foolishness out, right? You would sweat it out. And put some old school natural salves on your chest and stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's what they used to do. And so, it just seems like every time you turn around, There's another variant. You think, about a week before last, the numbers were going down considerably. Now it's this variant, and now the numbers is jumping back up again. There's something, you're right. We have we not learned from history, right?
Right.
And I think a lot of it too, Batman, there was so much misinformation, in my opinion, for those who are live streaming and catch the replay. In Nurse Coach Jean's opinion, there's been so much misinformation since the end of 2019 when this first started. It didn't start March of 2020. There was already cases before the new year of 2020. Let's be real. But so much misinformation. Now, if you're talking about a cough, what makes you think you can stop wearing a mask even if you vaccinate? I mean, come on now.
So,
we still don't have the data. We still don't have data.
Mm-hmm.
We still don't have none of that. And I want to say, also in the news, what I've heard over the last few days, Batman, was that the Supreme Court, was they going to make them come out with the data about the vaccine, different data on the vaccine.
Oh, wow.
I think I saw something like that as well.
You said they have to release it?
The Supreme Court. Yeah. The Supreme Court was going to make them release the data on it.
Yeah. But, see, again, if everybody get a chance to spend a little time looking at this document, and people got to remember too, and I'm just going to talk about where I've worked. My last couple employees that had a lot to do with health and welfare, right? They, when you have your leadership, is they up in age. I remember when our agency got away from BlackBerry, man, they was panicking when they got introduced to the smartphone. They was just clueless. I said, just get your grandkids to help you out. They thought I was trying to be smart. But it's like they weren't holding no training class, right? And I remember doing a focus group because we wanted to see if we could use tablets to speed up the process in the waiting room, where people can just go ahead and put the information in, and then the information is already there by the time they get to the desk. Basically all you're doing now is just, showing proof of this and that. So they had to embrace it, or the line's going to be long forever because you got a lot of baby boomers and people, and they knew that predicting that they were going to get all these baby boomers out of out of the workforce pretty much within they had 5 years. They had 5 years to get all the information from them, all their work knowledge to train the young people, and then they had to start, learn how to market to them because they weren't quite tuned into technology. So just think about it. If your leadership does not look at YouTube, and just remember if you have a young doctor, you go to a young doctor, especially if you go to these urgent care places, because a lot of times they're the only ones that's going to hire a young doctor is the urgent care places. By the end of your exam, they're going to hand you a sheet of paper that they printed off the internet, because they know that some of the information, it's an information library out there. Because he didn't have time to, or she didn't have time to go to the library and make photocopies and say, here, this is what you need to do. And they know they're going to tell you verbally because they know everybody's not audible learners, and they know they're going to sit there and tell you all the stuff you need to do. You're just going to be shaking your head and don't remember jack when you leave the office. So they hand you this sheet of paper, and then you now you have your choice. You can read that paper if you're a reader, or you can go to their website and watch the video if you're a watcher, like me. And if you want to, and if you're an Audible person, you can just listen to the video or, get the Audible book. So you have 3 ways of absorbing the information. And these are from the younger doctor. I had another doctor that was young, and she always handed me sheets. And I was like, wow, she started, and this when I was on my journey with diabetes. And so she was really and she was a general practitioner. She knew almost as much as my endocrinologist because he didn't even have a real cell phone. He still had a flip. He didn't even have a computer. So I knew he was more of a medicine doctor. Like he was great when it came to shuffling the medicine. All right, try this one in the afternoon this time and take this one in the morning. Okay, all right, we did that. All right, for the next 2 weeks, take this one at 6:00 a.m. Check. He was like a medicine doctor. My wife and I called him. But my general, she kind of knew what the findings were. And just like now, these doctors are going to, and it's only the younger doctors most of the time that you see on these YouTube channels that's just actually like plugged into what you need to do. It's because they're going out there researching. They're researching. And that's why everybody know about elderberry, because it's been published over and over again, right?
Right.
So they're going to understand that the only way we're going to beat this pandemic, the real way, is you're going to have to separate the sick from the healthy. And right now, that's not happening because the sick are still walking among us. They just leave the house and go down to the store to go get what they need to get. Because some people are going to survive it because everybody has a different makeup, right? Some of the people who are obese and have real bad underlying health issues, they're not going to make it. You know, it's kind of, I hate to say it's a little late for some of them, especially the overweight. Because if you ever listen to some of the people that talk about who had COVID, you look at the who they are, and you say, now why did he survive it and he didn't? Now, we have never heard a football player down from COVID yet. This is in the NFL. And some of them had it 2 or 3 times already, and they still walking. But their family members, old grandma, 85 years old, didn't make it, who probably was plugged up to an oxygen tank. Oh, big boy, Uncle Bob, weighed 300 pounds, didn't make it. You know, so we got to start looking at who's really not making, and why the younger people who making it. Now, the ones that got asthma really bad, maybe, or bronchitis or some respiratory issue, they not making it. But you have the healthy teens and young kids who are not having no issues. But they're the carriers, though. So that means, I just read about an Hispanic family the other day where the kid went to school, got it, but it was looked like a little cold. She was sneezing, I think. But this was their second round with this family. When it happened in 2020, it wasn't a great experience for grandma. Grandma did survive because she wasn't unhealthy. She just was a little older, but she survived it. But her lungs had issues with the infection, so she's still dealing with the infection in her lung. So she's actually on oxygen and a lot of medication, where everyone else. Right. So and now they got it again. So they had to move her out the house. And then they all just quarantined themselves. I was like, wow, that was really interesting. And I said, I wish I saw a picture of their family and see who they were. You know, because they were young. And now, then it brings me to this thought too. It was a young doctor who was in his 40s who was just working so hard that his body just was worn down. And that killed him. Because he was dealing with COVID for a long time up until, his body couldn't go on because he never took time out to rest. He didn't get no sleep. He was like sleep, what's that word called?
Sleep deprived.
Right, sleep deprived.
Had insomnia.
Right, sleep deprived because he had this energy. He just had to save the world. And his girlfriend was a nurse, so she told the story. And I said, wow, so why did not make it? He went and quarantined himself. When he finally decided, he took himself to the cabin to quarantine himself, but it was too late. His body was just so warm. It wasn't strong. That's why they always say, make sure you get enough rest. And I'm gonna tell you, Doc, I changed my watching TV habit. I built the media room. We have a media room now, so it's like being in the movies, right? It's incredible. So I've been watching Curb Your Enthusiasm, Insecure. And of course, I got to look at my sports channel. But usually I look at sports during the day, the replays of yesterday. But I'm telling you, it changed my mood. When I wake up, it's like I feel way different, along with the herbal supplements, relaxation. But it's like I decided that I need to take more control and don't let the anxiety. Because how a lot of people have been really affected by just being indoors and doing this. It feel like it's like what's Groundhog Day? You wake up. It's like you're doing the same thing you did last year, going on 2 years. I did the same thing. Get up, take the dog out, come back, shower, log in, do work. Bam, do the work. It's like eat lunch the same time, run your errands. This day you go to the supermarket. This day you go. It's like you finding yourself like repeating over and over. So you got to change the cycle. But you can't always just hang out at the movies. You can't do the things you used to do. So you got to be creative.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right. You got to be creative. You said something that made me think about something else. It's very important, right? Because I believe, as a holistic board certified holistic nurse, we are more than just the sum of our parts, right?
Right.
We've got to start taking into consideration the whole person or our whole body. So sleep is important, making sure we're getting at least close to the recommended amount of sleep every day, right?
Yeah.
Anywhere between 7 to 9 hours of sleep. Our bodies have to rest.
Yeah.
Our cells rejuvenate when we are asleep. So if you have like our healthcare professionals, our police officers, firefighters, ambulance drivers, those that work maybe crazy shifts sometimes on call or working 24 hours straight and these different things, they're not really, their bodies are not possibly not getting the rest that they need. And now with this pandemic, guess what? The ante has been up. We need more rest now than before.
That's
How
right.
we used to run around all the time and go 15, 16, 20 hours straight with no rest. We cannot afford to do that now. So that's important. Making sure we are eating a balanced diet, getting those nutrients, some vitamins, the minerals, the protein, the healthy fat, all of that, right? So the balanced diet, enough sleep and rest. We have to make sure we're drinking our water, right? Our bodies are like 65 to 70% water. We've got to flush these toxins out of our bodies.
That's
I don't
right.
care how well you eat.
Yep.
The
You gotta help the body.
toxins in the environment that absorb in our bodies, and we need to flush our bodies out,
That's
right?
right.
So
Definitely.
we got to start thinking and looking at the whole person, right?
Full,
Not just,
full body.
what we eating, right? Not just we exercise. We got to look at it all that.
But how about this though, Doc? Okay, you mentioned something that I was kind of struggling with. Okay, and I thought it was because of my disease, right? So I found myself not really needing no more than 5 hours, because if I sleep longer than 5 hours, it's like I just drag through the day. It's like a rough 2 to 3 hours getting moving. If I try to go 6 to 7 to 8, can't do them 13-hour days like I used to. So, but what I found out after talking to because I was listening to all your guests, went out there and got a masseuse, got a chiropractor, got my PT, and everything was working and feeling good. But then it's like, feel like getting up, I didn't feel no better in the morning. So I went a little deeper. This was without discussion with my chiropractor at the time, because, a lot of times you think about it, They make really, really good money when it take you a long time to heal, because you're going to exhaust your visits, right?
Yeah.
So they don't want to straighten you out in no 2-3 visits. They want you to come back. Man. They by the time they get done with you, they know your parents' names, your baby's names, what school you went to, and my doctor, man, she remembers stuff. Man, I ain't see her like since last spring, and she remember what school my kids went to. She said, it was incredible.
Wow.
Yeah. So. You just told me that I must have been coming too many times. That was too many visits. So I went online, and I know what happened. My wife and I went to go visit my daughter, and we stayed in her apartment in North Carolina. And I was like, wow, honey. I said, her bed felt like the hotel bed. It was nice and comfortable and soft. You just feel like sleeping forever. It was like a really good rest, and I was able to endure the train ride. It was good. So she said, I bought her She said, I bought her a mattress topper, for her bed. I said, oh, you did? So I went to Walmart website, because she said she got it at Walmart. Went to Walmart, and I didn't see the one my wife was talking about. I saw this one that was called it was like some kind of gel foam, and people said it smelled like lavender. It had egg crate designs and it's smooth on the other side. And they said it'd take like 48 hours for it to spread itself out and form your bed. And I was like, what the heck? That's not what my wife got. This thing, people say it's pretty heavy too. It come in a big box. So I was like, man, that's not the one my wife was talking about. So I ordered it anyway, right? And it came, that thing was heavy. The delivery lady had her son pull it out of the truck, the FedEx lady, right? And he dropped the thing down. I said, man, that thing look heavy, buddy. He said, it is, sir. So I took it in, and my wife and I got upstairs, because it was a king size, and we folded up, and it was really small, right? I was like, man, this thing don't even fit the bed. But I went and looked at the instructions, because it was vacuum packed. It was packed in a vacuum. So you had to cut it out, all this stuff. Because I had to look at a video. to get it right. It took like 8 hours for it to contort to the bed, and then the next day it was really a square. It was 3 inches thick, and the best sleep ever. The thing got memory foam. And my wife's like, because she slept on it first, she had took a nap on it, and I didn't hear from her for a while. I'm like, where's she at? So she said, oh, this thing is nice. And that was like her little day rest, right? She normally doesn't do that. So got up. It felt like my body was healing itself while I was laying on it. It heats up to your body, so you can't wear a lot of clothes, like hoodies and stuff, like I normally do.
Right.
And I mean, and that's so I told my chiropractor about it. And of course, she tried to kill it at first. She tried to kill it. So I thought my body was healing itself, right? She said, well, you know what that means? That means you really need a mattress. I said, yeah, but you ever seen the prices of those beds that's made out of that stuff? It's like the size of it's the price of an addition to your house. Those things expensive. So, they get the sleep comfort, all the numbers and stuff. I said, wow, you can get a dead mattress and put this thing on top of it. Because people were saying they was putting on top of anything and it was good to go. That's what I was reading on the reviews. So she was wrong. I'm telling you, if anybody, you want to find out where your body's not healing, because when you sleep, your body is healing itself. Your brain cells and, some people like to drink liquor before they go to bed. I mean, you ain't helping your brain cells. It's because they can't get to sleep because they're not comfortable. And I know everybody not going to be able to afford to go out because those things are not cheap, but they are under $200. In some cases, you can get it for under $100. If you go through, depends on what manufacturer. But instead of you trying to spend thousands on the mattress, just get the topper. And I'm gonna tell you, Coach, it's been the best because we fold that thing out. Must have been Saturday. I feel way better than ever. And this is like. It's the feeling like you feel when you leave your masseuse or your chiropractor. You know how that feeling, it's only for a few hours until the next day is gone. That feeling is gone. It's because we're not sleeping healthy.
That's right.
Yeah, listen to the bed, man. I tapped into something. I'm like, I'm way more coherent. I may not need medication soon. It's the magic.
Come on.
This thing is deep, man. I found something out. I discovered something.
Yeah. That's a good thing.
Look it up,
but
y'all.
People got to realize that sleep is important. That's how our cells regenerate.
Yeah, but it's hard to sleep well if you're sleeping on the floor or you sleeping in a chair or you sleeping in your car. Because you got people who don't have the comforts of the average middle class American. It's like they sleeping on a mattress that their grandmother gave them, who haven't been here for 20, 30 years. And that's a thing. People think flipping the mattress is gonna make a difference. You flipping it, you turning it around the other way. Cause that was one of the things I said, how you think we need to flip the mattress? It was like trying to get off of spending thousands of dollars for a mattress and then waiting for it to come for one. And everything has gone up because of inflation and shipping.
Right.
I've watched, man, I never seen a long line of trucks at the weigh station go all the way up to the highway before. It was like, wow. Never seen that before.
Wow.
Yeah.
But without the right mattress, it will affect your back.
Yeah.
Your back will just be through without you have to have the proper mattress if you can afford that.
It's because the skeletal system, right?
Balance.
But this in the skeletal system, all that stuff ties in together with your everything. Like what? Your spinal cord, everything travels through your spinal cord. That's the superhighway of your body, right?
All the nerves, yes, all the nerves and the nerve fibers, yes. That spinal cord, our bodies have to be in alignment. That's why it's important that we have good posture, that when we're sitting in the chair, we're sitting up straight, feet flat on the ground, all of that. Because, all the nerve fibers and everything. So when you got back issues, man, your whole body hurts.
There's a lot of people, man. And the thing about it is we've been looking at temporary fixes. Eventually some people are getting operations, and I've heard people say the operations don't even work.
Yeah, they go back and end up getting more back surgeries. And stuff. That's why, look, we got to get our bodies back in. Our bodies were created. God created our bodies to maintain a state of balance, a state of equilibrium, a state of homeostasis. And when one area is out of whack, right, it affects our entire body. It affects our entire being.
Yeah,
there must be balance. You know, I wrote the book. There must be balance.
It must be balance. It's right. Your weight,
balance,
everything.
coming up.
That's right.
You know, yeah. That's why it's important, you know, but everything has to be in proper alignment. Balance is key. It matters because it affects our health when we are out of balance, out of alignment, when we are, our bodies are in a state of disharmony. And so, I want to talk a little bit. What's your thoughts about the upcoming health summit?
I'm excited about that. Yeah, man. I'm actually, I have filled out all my information. I just got a little confused about the pay later, but I got to ask you about that. It didn't look like it was about the pay later.
You can call me offline.
Yeah.
Call me offline.
Yeah, because, you know, it's
talk to me offline.
Right, it's beginning of the month. You know how people, Bill Man waiting on everybody. He got his hand out.
Oh, yeah, because I got to pay. Tomorrow, I got to pay bills, you included.
Yeah, Bill Man.
But it has had me very busy, but I'm excited about it. And so our listeners who are tuning in and those who catch the replay, you join us on the virtual stage. We're looking for a variety of speakers. You don't have to be a healthcare professional to speak on this Health Summit platform, Jerry. You know that, right?
That's right,
We're looking for people like you who changed your health by changing your lifestyle, looking for those who have a passion to help others improve their quality of life, looking for authors who help others to heal through writing, looking for people that share their self-care tips, people that have high blood pressure. How did you lower your blood pressure? Now you off medication. We're even looking for moms and dads who homeschool their kids and working from home and running their business from home. Because to do that and homeschool your kids, you better have some serious work-life balance, right?
Oh, yeah.
Look, we're looking for some motivational speakers, empowerment speakers, those who could speak to mindset, because that's where it starts right there, right?
That's right. The mindset.
It starts in the mind. And this waiting until January 1st. Look, in the words of my friend Shay Brown, your January 1st is right now. Too many people want to wait till January 1st. You got to get your mind right, start working on your mind now, and start making small, consistent changes.
That's right.
Consistency is key.
Yeah, that's when the gym get crowded.
That's what's up.
The gym get crowded, and then like by February, you don't see them people no more. They can't do that 30 days.
Nobody.
They can't do that 30 days. Like right now, my son and I are back in the gym, and we see, you know, the people, the same folks. They're in shape, keeping it moving. And then you got your people that's going to be coming in January. That's not going to be able to, you know, change, you know, because it takes 30 days to form a habit. And, you know,
it sure does.
2 weeks. Some of them give up in 2 days. It's like, I'm hurting too bad to go. Because I was out of the gym, you know, since the kids went back to school. Because I was used to going in the evening. My wife don't like me being on the road in the evening. I was going to try to do the daytime, but so it's just so hard, you know, just trying to keep up. So I'm going to try to, now that I'm sleeping better, I can get up earlier. And then I can have time to spend 2 hours in the gym for lunch. You know, take my time, you know. Because I had to go through the pain. I had to go through all that pain again, man. My doggone biceps have been killing me in the shoulders.
No pain, no gain.
I know.
And look, research has shown that 45% of people who join these gyms in January, by mid-February, they stop going. That's the research. Research has demonstrated
Someone give up before then.
We got to do better.
Don't let those snow come.
Look, it's time we got to change our mindset. Mindset matters. And on that note, Batman, look, thank you for joining me. I thought I was going to go solo this week, but I thank you for joining me. But that was good information that you sent, you know, about this latest, quote unquote, this latest variant of COVID. And look, people, those of y'all who are tuning in right now, those who catch the replay, we are still in the midst of a pandemic, vaccinated or unvaccinated. There are things that we still need to do. We need to wash our hands properly for at least 20 to 30 seconds. We need to not touch our faces and touch things before washing our hands. Wash before and after you go out somewhere. Look, grab a paper towel and open up these doors.
That's right.
Touching
Flu
doorknobs
season.
and stuff. Use a paper towel. Don't touch them with your bare hands. Wear your mask. I don't know why here in the United States we act like we so privileged. Unless you've been downrange to Iraq or Afghanistan and had to wear full mop gear, mask and all in 150-degree weather, I don't want to hear nothing about I can't breathe with these masks on. Wear your mask.
Wear your mask, y'all. It's biological. That's right. It's a biological warfare going on right now. You know?
That's what I say. And I ain't into conspiracy theories, but it makes you wonder, right? Biological, yeah, form of biological warfare. It makes you wonder. But anyway, look, to you, our listeners, we thank you so much for tuning in to Health Chat with Coach Gene, with my producer, the Batman and Thompson.
You're welcome.
Mr. Jerry Royce himself, joining me here in the chat room tonight. And until next time, if God says the same, we wish you grace, peace, and health. Wear your mask, wash your hands, be safe, have a great week, and good night.
That's right. Glory to God.
Thank you for joining us for another episode here in the chat room. Health Chat with Coach Gene, that is. Until next time, if God says the same, I pray peace, health, love, and well-being for you and your family. God bless you.